I had to learn. And you know what I started realizing? I could empathize with these people. I could empathize with them. I could understand them in a way that I think few people could, at least non-stutterers. And it was because of my stutter. It was because of what I went through as a child, where I just stopped speaking and started watching everything. If the human world thought I couldn't speak, I would stop speaking, because I didn't have a connection to other people like you're finding here at Friends. So I just stopped talking for quite a while, between kindergarten and 6th grade. And that just fed into the fact that the school system believed that there was something mentally wrong with me. But there wasn't. I became friends with the animals, and I watched everything that went on. And when I had to go back into the world of people, whether I could speak with them or not speak with them, I could empathize with them. I could feel them. I could deal with them better. People often wondered, non-stutterers or people in my field often say, how do you do this? How do you end up being able to deal with a witch doctor in the jungles of northern Burma and the prime minister in the country? And I know how, but I can't explain it, because it has to do with growing up as a stutterer. Next slide, please. Dealing with the local people wasn't enough. First, I had to convince them not to kill tigers or jaguars or lions, but then I had to go higher. But then I had to really try to use my speech and not distract the high government employees from my stuttering, to try to convince them to pass laws. Next slide, please. I dealt with all levels of people in all countries. Next slide. Next slide, please. Whether it was, this is actually an insurgent army living in the jungle who were killing the tigers. And I went on patrol with them and tried to teach them and train them how they could get food without killing wildlife. Next slide, please. All the way up to the Prime Minister of Burma. This was not easy to do. Burma is a very closed country. It's a military dictatorship. This man was considered one of the most feared men in all of Asia, head of military intelligence, and the Prime Minister, the top dictator. But guess what? He wanted to save the tigers. He was intrigued by the fact that there was this American biologist wanting to save the country's tigers. And I got to meet him, and because of that, next slide please, and because of convincing him, I was able to get one of the wildest areas left in the world set aside as the world's largest tiger reserve. Next slide. This is a wild tiger in that reserve. Next slide, please. 2% of the entire country of Myanmar, up in the north, Myanmar is known as Burma, is now protected, fully protected. It's the world's largest. It is the size of the state of Vermont. It is the world's largest tiger reserve. Next slide. With jaguars, again, the way I'm saving jaguars now is by using my voice. Not running from people and being alone in the jungle, but running to people and using my voice and using the passion and the feelings I've developed through stuttering to save these animals. Next slide. This is a recent trip. That's the Vice President of Colombia. That's the Minister of Environment of Colombia. Next to him, and the woman is the head of national parks. This was a meeting where we got a jaguar corridor throughout the entire country of Colombia. This is one of the major drug growing areas for cocaine. And they signed into law a jaguar corridor, a jaguar protected area running through the entire country of Colombia just recently. Next slide, please. And through speaking to these heads of state, through reaching out, through using my voice now, instead of running from my voice, I did country by country, from Mexico through northern Argentina. We are slowly but surely getting a continuous jaguar corridor set aside. It's in the dark green areas are where jaguars live. The light green areas are the corridors where the jaguars need to travel between the protected areas. We're getting this jaguar corridor. It's almost fully signed into law throughout Central America. We're now moving into Guyana and Venezuela, into South America. This is what my life is. I feel incredibly gratified. Next slide, please. This is the last one. He's my favorite, Albert Einstein. But the one quote, he's got lots of incredible quotes, Albert Einstein. But what I learned as a stutterer, what I learned the words to live my life by, is very well summed up in this quote by Albert Einstein. Very early in my life, you always strive to be, well, I did anyway, at that time, when I was so alone, I wanted to be normal, whatever normal is. I wanted to be like everybody else. And there came a time in my life when I never wanted to be like everybody else. And I will never want to be like everybody else. The goals I set for myself, the goals I think we all should set for ourselves, are goals not what other people can achieve, not what we even know we can achieve. You always set a goal beyond which you know you can achieve, which may be unachievable or barely achievable. That's the goal you strive for. So you're always, always striving towards that end. Then the unachievable becomes the achievable, because there is no unachievable. There is no unachievable. And I think people like us, I think stutterers understand that more than most other people. I sure do. I do now. It took a long time for me, and I think I would have come to that much, much sooner had I had a group of like friends and a network like this to be able to help me reach out the way I can see people doing here, which I never